Ladies, listen up, because this is for you. I know that life has a way of coming at us, trying to knock us down, but I want to tell you today, you are not just survivors, you are conquerors. There is a strength in you that's been waiting to be awakened, a power inside that no obstacle can ever take away. You see, there's a voice that's been quieted for far too long, but I'm here to remind you, your voice matters. Your dreams matter. Your purpose matters. And no matter where you've been or what you've been through, it's time to rise and walk in your full potential. Today, I'm here to speak truth over your life, to remind you of who you are and who you are called to be. So I need you to lean in, because what I'm about to say is for your soul. Women need to hear this. And you, my sister, are the one that needs to hear it most. Too often, women are taught to seek validation from external sources, society, family, friends, or even strangers. We're conditioned to measure our worth based on how others perceive us or how much we can achieve. We become attached to titles, roles, and expectations, believing that if we meet these benchmarks, then we will finally be enough. But here's the truth. Your worth isn't tied to what you do or how you are seen. Your worth is innate, and it's always been there, even when you couldn't see it yourself. Think about it. From the moment you were born, you were worthy. Worthy of love, worthy of respect, worthy of success, worthy of peace. The world tries to tell us otherwise, often in subtle and sometimes overt ways. It tells us that we have to earn our worth through accomplishments, through relationships, or through how we look. But deep down, we know that our true worth cannot be measured by anything external. No promotion, no relationship, no number on a scale or in a bank account can define you. We often let the opinions of others shape how we see ourselves. It's easy to get caught in the trap of comparison, constantly looking at others and wondering why they seem to have it all together while we struggle. But that comparison steals from us. It distracts us from the truth that you are enough, just as you are. You don't need to be anyone else to be worthy. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You are already worthy of every blessing, every opportunity, and every success that is meant for you. One of the greatest disservices we do to ourselves is underestimating our own value. We convince ourselves that we have to be perfect, that we have to have it all figured out, that we have to please everyone, and that we have to be everything for everyone. But in doing so, we lose sight of our authentic selves. When we let the world dictate how we define our worth, we start living for approval rather than for purpose. We become trapped in a cycle of seeking validation, and that cycle keeps us from embracing who we truly are and all that we are capable of achieving. So the first step in embracing your worth is understanding that it doesn't come from outside of you. It doesn't come from a promotion or a title or someone else's approval. It's already inside of you, waiting for you to acknowledge it. Your worth is in the way you show up, the love you give, the courage you find in your hardest moments, and the strength you carry. It's in the decisions you make to choose yourself, to choose your peace, and to choose what aligns with your highest good. The next part of embracing your worth is understanding that your value is not tied to perfection. No one has it all together. No one is without flaws, mistakes, or failures. And that's okay. Perfection is a myth, and chasing it only leads to frustration and burnout. But when you accept that your worth doesn't depend on being flawless, you free yourself. You give yourself permission to grow, to stumble, and to rise again without shame or guilt. You learn to love yourself in the mess, in the mistakes, and in the moments of doubt, because you know that none of that diminishes your value. Your worth is also not determined by what you have or don't have. Society teaches us that we need to accumulate wealth, status, or possessions to be valuable. But real worth comes from within. It comes from knowing that regardless of the material things you have or don't have, you are still worthy of love, respect, and success. The things you own or the job title you hold don't define who you are at your core. Your value is far deeper than that. We often forget that embracing our worth also means setting boundaries and knowing when to say no. When we understand our worth, we don't allow people to treat us poorly, take advantage of our time, or drain our energy. We learn to protect ourselves, not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. When you know your worth, you stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop tolerating situations and relationships that diminish your light. You understand that your peace, your energy, and your happiness are priceless, and you refuse to let anyone take that away from you. Embracing your worth also requires letting go of the need for constant external validation. There will always be people who criticize, judge, or misunderstand you, but their opinions do not define you. Their words do not have the power to shape your self-worth unless you give them that power. When you stop seeking approval and start approving of yourself, you take back control. You stop waiting for someone else to tell you that you're good enough, because you already know you are. It's easy to fall into the trap of feeling unworthy when things aren't going as planned. When life gets hard, when you face failure, rejection, or disappointment, it can feel like your worth is slipping away. But let me remind you, setbacks are not a reflection of your value. They are merely stepping stones, lessons on your journey. Your worth doesn't fluctuate with your circumstances. It remains constant, unshaken by the storms of life. You are worthy on your best days and your worst days. You are worthy in your successes and your failures. Your worth is unchangeable because it is not rooted in what you do, but in who you are. The more you begin to embrace your worth, the more you will see opportunities, connections, and blessings unfold in your life. When you recognize your value, the world starts to reflect that back to you. People begin to treat you the way you treat yourself. Opportunities come your way, not because you've earned them, but because you've stepped into your power and aligned with what you truly deserve. The limiting beliefs we hold about ourselves are often the biggest barriers to achieving our fullest potential. From a young age, we're fed ideas about what we can and cannot do, what's expected of us, and what we're supposed to be. These beliefs shape the way we view the world and our place in it. But the truth is, many of these beliefs are not based on who we really are. They're based on fear, doubt, and the expectations of others. The most damaging part is that we tend to accept these limiting beliefs as truths without ever questioning their validity. These beliefs often stem from experiences we've had, the people around us, or the voices we've heard throughout our lives. Perhaps someone told you that you weren't smart enough, strong enough, or capable enough to achieve something. Maybe you were discouraged by well-meaning family members who believed that your dreams were too big or too out of reach. Over time, you start to internalize these opinions as truths about yourself, and they shape the way you approach your goals and dreams. You might find yourself holding back, not because you lack the ability, but because you believe you're not worthy or capable of going after what you truly want. But the truth is that none of those limiting beliefs define you. They are simply thoughts, patterns, and ideas that have been repeated over time, and they have no power over you unless you allow them to. In fact, many of these beliefs are rooted in fear, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. And when you live in that place of fear, you're constantly held back from stepping into your true potential. Fear can be paralyzing. It can make you doubt your abilities, question your worth, and hold you in a place of inertia. To break free from these limiting beliefs, you must first become aware of them. Often, these beliefs are so ingrained that we don't even realize how much they're controlling our lives. It might be the belief that you have to be perfect before you can succeed, or that you're not allowed to fail. Maybe it's the idea that your past mistakes define you, or that you're too old or too young to start something new. These thoughts have been with you for so long that you might not even see them as beliefs. They just feel like facts, but they're not. They are simply narratives you've told yourself, often influenced by external sources that no longer serve you. Once you begin to recognize these limiting beliefs, the next step is to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this belief truly serving me? Is this belief based on facts or just assumption? Where did this belief come from, and is it rooted in truth or fear? More often than not, you'll find that these beliefs are rooted in fear and not in reality. You will begin to see that the things you thought were impossible for you were simply the result of believing in something that was never true. You'll start to understand that the only thing holding you back is the belief that you cannot move forward. Breaking free from these limiting beliefs requires a shift in mindset. You must replace fear with faith, doubt with belief, and insecurity with confidence. Start by reminding yourself of your accomplishments and strengths. Reflect on the times in your life when you overcame obstacles or achieved something that once seemed impossible. Those moments are proof that you are capable of far more than you give yourself credit for. The truth is, you have been resilient, resourceful, and brave long before you realized it. Another important aspect of breaking free from limiting beliefs is learning to trust yourself. We often doubt our abilities because we've been conditioned to look outside ourselves for answers. We seek approval, guidance, or permission from others, believing that they hold the key to our success. But the truth is, you already have everything you need within you. Your intuition, your passion, and your determination are powerful guides that can lead you to where you need to go. Trusting yourself means tuning out the noise of others' opinions and listening to your own inner voice. It means having the courage to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. One of the most freeing things you can do is to release the need for perfection. Perfectionism is one of the biggest limiting beliefs that many women hold. We believe that if we can't do something perfectly, we shouldn't do it at all. But perfection is a trap. It keeps you from taking action and prevents you from seeing progress. When you let go of the need for perfection, you free yourself to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow. You realize that your journey is about progress, not perfection, and that every step you take brings you closer to your goals. Breaking free from limiting beliefs is also about embracing your growth. It's about understanding that you are constantly evolving and that the person you were yesterday doesn't define who you are today. The mistakes you've made, the failures you've experienced, and the challenges you've faced are all part of your growth story. They don't define your future. You are not limited by your past. Each day is a new opportunity to step into who you are becoming, not who you were. The more you challenge and release these limiting beliefs, the more you begin to see the endless possibilities before you. You start to take action without fear because you know that you are capable. You begin to trust in your abilities, trust in your vision, and trust in the process of your own life. When you stop limiting yourself, you open the door to a life filled with endless opportunities and growth. And that is where your true power lies. Owning your story is one of the most powerful acts of self-liberation you can undertake. Far too often, we try to hide parts of ourselves, burying our past mistakes, pain, or regrets in an attempt to fit into a mold or meet the expectations of others. We become ashamed of the things we've been through or the choices we've made, and in doing so, we allow these experiences to define us in negative ways. But here's the truth. Your story is yours to own, and it is what makes you uniquely you. There is power in embracing every chapter, both the good and the challenging, because it is through these experiences that you find strength, resilience, and purpose. We all have a story, and often the story we tell ourselves is what shapes our identity. The way we interpret our experiences, the meaning we assign to them, and the lessons we take away define the narrative we live by. Many women, however, live in a constant state of denial or shame about their past, trying to outrun the parts of themselves they feel are unworthy of love or acceptance. They mask their pain with perfection, thinking that if they appear strong or flawless, no one will see their struggles. But the truth is, it is only by fully embracing and owning our story, flaws, failures, triumphs, and all, that we can step into our true power. Owning your story requires vulnerability. It means being willing to face the parts of your life that may be difficult to confront. It means accepting that your past mistakes, your heartbreaks, and your failures are not something to hide, but something to acknowledge and learn from. When you own your story, you stop living in fear of judgment. You understand that your past does not define you, and the mistakes you've made are simply stepping stones on your journey. Every struggle you've overcome has shaped you into the person you are today, and that person is worthy of love, respect, and grace. When we own our story, we stop seeking approval from others. Instead of constantly measuring ourselves against someone else's standards, we learn to trust in our own truth. We become unapologetic about who we are and where we've been. This doesn't mean we're perfect, but it does mean we're authentic. We're willing to stand in our truth, even when it's uncomfortable. By owning your story, you stop allowing your past to control your future. You reclaim your power. You redefine your narrative, taking back the pen and writing your own destiny. It's important to remember that owning your story is also about embracing your growth. The woman you were yesterday doesn't need to be the woman you are today. And the woman you are today doesn't need to be the woman you will be tomorrow. Growth is a continual process. And owning your story means recognizing that your journey isn't static. It's fluid. You are constantly evolving, learning, and becoming more of who you are meant to be. Every experience, whether good or bad, has contributed to your personal growth. And when you own that growth, you give yourself permission to continue evolving without guilt or shame. Owning your story also means accepting the power of your voice. Your story is a testament to your resilience, your courage, and your ability to rise above. When you embrace your story fully, you allow yourself to speak your truth unapologetically, knowing that your voice matters. You realize that by sharing your story, you give others the permission to do the same. Your story has the power to inspire, to heal, and to connect. It is not something to be ashamed of. It is something to be celebrated because it is uniquely yours. The beauty of owning your story is that it brings you into alignment with who you truly are. No longer do you need to hide behind a facade or wear a mask. You begin to show up as your authentic self, flaws, scars, and all. And that is the version of you that the world needs to see. There is freedom in letting go of the shame and fear that once held you back. There is power in being real, being raw, and being vulnerable. The more you own your story, the more you understand that you are enough, just as you are. Your story is not something to be ashamed of. It is the foundation upon which you can build your greatest life. Resilience is not simply the ability to bounce back. It's the strength to move forward despite the challenges, setbacks, and pain we face. It is the deep-rooted conviction that no matter how many times life knocks you down, you have the power to rise again. Life is full of trials, difficult situations, heart-wrenching moments, and unexpected hurdles, but it's not what happens to us that defines our future. It's how we respond. Resilience is built through adversity, and it's in the moments when we feel like giving up that we discover the depths of our inner strength. Too often, we see resilience as something we either have or don't have, as if it's a trait we are born with. But resilience is something we cultivate. It's a muscle we strengthen over time through every struggle, every heartbreak, every disappointment. When we are faced with challenges, it can be easy to feel overwhelmed, to question if we are strong enough to endure. We may feel like throwing in the towel, like it would be easier to walk away from our dreams, our goals, or the pursuit of happiness. But resilience doesn't always look like a grand, dramatic comeback. Sometimes it's simply the decision to keep moving forward, even if that forward movement is slow, uncertain, or imperfect. What makes resilient women stand out is their ability to embrace discomfort. We live in a world that often tells us to avoid pain and to seek comfort, but growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. The most powerful lessons are learned in moments of hardship. Resilience doesn't mean pretending that things are okay when they're not. It means allowing yourself to feel the pain, acknowledge the difficulty, and still choose to keep going. It's in the moments when you're at your lowest, when everything seems uncertain, that you are given the opportunity to rise. Resilience is not the absence of difficulty, but the decision to persevere despite it. When life presents challenges, resilient people don't give up on themselves. They give themselves permission to experience the tough emotions without allowing those emotions to define their future. They may stumble, but they don't let those stumbles stop them from getting back up. Every setback is seen as an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more equipped for the next challenge. Resilient women don't shy away from difficulties. They face them head on with courage and conviction, knowing that they have the ability to navigate through whatever comes their way. An essential part of resilience is perspective. It's the ability to see the bigger picture, even when things seem dark in the moment. Resilient women don't just look at a challenge as an obstacle. They look at it as an opportunity for growth. They understand that every setback is temporary, that every storm passes, and that they are capable of enduring. Perspective shifts the way we approach difficulties. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Resilient women ask, what can I learn from this? They understand that the challenges they face are not a reflection of their worth, but are stepping stones to becoming the woman they are meant to be. Resilience is also deeply tied to self-compassion. The stronger we are with ourselves, the more we can withstand life's storms. Being resilient doesn't mean pushing yourself to the brink of exhaustion or expecting yourself to be perfect. It means giving yourself grace when things don't go according to plan. Resilience thrives in an environment where self-love and kindness are abundant. Resilient women understand the importance of taking care of their mental and emotional health. They take time to heal, to reflect, and to recharge. They know that in order to continue pushing forward, they must first take care of themselves. True resilience requires a deep belief in your own worth and your ability to overcome anything that comes your way. It's a quiet, unshakable knowing that no matter how tough the journey gets, you will make it through. Resilient women have faced challenges, often more than anyone realizes, but instead of being broken by them, they are shaped by them. The strength they possess isn't just in the things they've accomplished. It's in their ability to keep going when the world seems determined to pull them down. Trusting your intuition is one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. It's that quiet inner voice that knows what's best for you, even when logic and reasoning seem to suggest otherwise. Yet so often we dismiss our intuition, relying on external advice, societal expectations, or the opinions of others to guide us, rather than trusting the wisdom that already exists within us. We are conditioned to second guess ourselves, to seek validation, and to follow the paths that others lay out for us, instead of boldly following the path that our heart knows is meant for us. The truth is, your intuition is your internal compass. It's the deep knowing that comes not from the head, but from the soul. When you trust your intuition, you are listening to the essence of who you are. It doesn't come from a place of fear or doubt, but from a place of clarity, strength, and confidence. Your intuition knows things that your conscious mind doesn't fully understand. It is your inner guide designed to lead you toward the experiences, relationships, and opportunities that are in alignment with your true self. Unfortunately, the noise of the world often drowns out that quiet voice. From the moment we're born, we're taught to rely on external sources for answers. We are taught to seek approval, follow instructions, and prioritize logic over feeling. As a result, we disconnect from our intuition and start to question it. We forget that we are innately intuitive beings, capable of making decisions that serve our highest good. Trusting your intuition requires you to silence the external noise and tune in to what your heart is telling you. It's about learning to recognize the subtle nudges, the gut feelings, and the inner wisdom that arise when you take a moment to pause and listen. The more you trust your intuition, the more you'll realize that it never steers you wrong. It doesn't always make sense on paper, but it always leads you where you need to go. In fact, there are countless moments in life when your intuition will lead you to take risks, step into the unknown, or make decisions that don't seem rational at the time. But when you follow it, you discover that these leaps of faith often bring about the most fulfilling and transformative experiences of your life. Your intuition is not meant to keep you in your comfort zone. It's meant to push you into